It is said that life cannot be without food. When we destroy the lands that give food, we destroy the foods that give life. Jamaica has a vibrant agriculture and fisheries sector with hard workers who aim to ensure food security. You can help to strengthen the sector by buying local produce. You know the saying, encouragement sweetens labor. Let us work to protect our agricultural sector on our journey to food security here in Jamaica. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We have an interesting show lined up for you, so stay tuned as we turn the pages.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Submit your entries by October 31. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free, the JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
The Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate (CSEC) results were recently released, and it showed a 41% passing in mathematics. This week on Get the Facts, we'll be discussing this below-average pass mark and factors that contributed to this outcome. We'll also be looking at measures being implemented to improve the pass average in mathematics here in Jamaica. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Get the Facts. This is the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm Theodore Henry. Today we focus on math, the subject that is loved by many, could also say feared by many, and which is so necessary in everyday life. Our guest is Dr. Tamika Benjamin, and she's the National Math Coordinator. Dr. Benjamin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so Doc, let's get right into it. Can you give us an overview as to the performance of the nation's children in math in the most recent exams? We're talking CSEC, and then we can talk about CAPE.
Okay, so in the CSEC examinations this year, our public school students, we had a 38.1% pass rate. That's 38.1% of the students were able to attain a grade 1, 2, or 3 in CSEC math.
Okay. CSEC math regionally. How do we compare regionally?
And regionally, the pass rate was just a little above that. It was at 41%. So, and Jamaica carries, I think we have one of the largest group of students that usually sits the CSEC examinations, but the regional pass rate would have been 41%.
All right, so our rate is below the regional rate, and are there any reasons that you can help us identify for these scores, what we're seeing now?
I think the reasons would be some of them understood. I mean, we have been working very hard, and we actually gotten up to, at one stage, I think it was a 61.2% pass rate in CSEC.
I remember that, yes.
In 2020.
Right.
And even with that, there are some factors that plagued us then, and we continue to struggle with as a system. One I'd put first is just the attitude to the subject. Generally, as a society, Jamaicans have a fear of math, and that is still one of the issues that we are contending with. Yeah. We see some of our teachers struggling with it, less so at the secondary level, I will say. We see teachers at the primary level struggling with it. Most persons who are teaching math at the secondary level would clearly have a passion and liking for the subject because they would have had to specialize in it at the teacher college level. But for primary trained, you teach it because right now right now, and I'll talk about that a little later, we have a generalist approach. So you have that factor there. We have issues with the quality of instruction. So students don't always see the relevance of what they're being taught. The topics tend to be taught in ways that are very abstract. We are not always making that critical link between the relevance of or how those concepts are applied to the everyday life and experience of the students. And then another reason, I think, is that there has been a shift in the last few years, I think 2018 in particular, with the CSEC syllabus, with a great emphasis being placed on problem solving and critical thinking. And that's something that we're striving to build in the system through the new national standards curriculum, which I don't think students at the secondary level would have necessarily had the full benefit of that curriculum experience. So I think it is something that we should begin to see changing over time, but that is still one of the factors that we are seeing when we do our analysis. We see that as one of the weaknesses of our students.
I'm very interested in that last bit that you mentioned, that new curriculum. Could you give us a few points on that? It sounds new and exciting.
Okay, so the National Standards Curriculum was implemented, I think, between 2015 and 2016. It's built around a totally different philosophy. There's greater emphasis on a student-centered approach to learning with a drive to promote critical thinking, a lot of higher order thinking skills. And so for the math curriculum, we tend to promote a lot of problem solving. And we're not talking about the worded problems. I know Jamaicans tend to think when they think of a math problem, they think of that sentence, Mary had 4 apples and John had 5, how many do that? No, it's really pushing a lot more thinking and analysis and application. Probably even situations that we have what we call open problems. You could have more than one solution, possible solution to it. So it's really trying to promote a lot more critical thinking, and that's the basis on which our new curriculum is built.
Understood. And you did point out that there is this perception, a fear perception. People are, I don't know, afraid of numbers or afraid of the subject.
People are afraid of the subject. I think it's largely cultural. If you don't tend to find that in Eastern countries. I find that in the Western parts of the world, it's a lot more ingrained. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't, we stress a lot of reading, and we stress literacy, and so even at the home level, apart from counting, we don't help our students see math in the everyday things they're doing. We don't even recognize when hook we use in it. We don't recognize that when we are determining what time we're going to leave the house to be able to make a journey. Yeah, we don't. So in essence, the subject almost comes across as mystical. Unreachable for the bright, and those are things that we even tell our children. So they don't naturally believe that, hey, I can do math. There is nothing hard in it. That's not the messaging that we give our children from very early, and I think it has an impact on them and on their own perception of themselves as it relates to learning the subject.
Understood. We're heading towards our break, but I had wanted you to do a bit of evangelism on math a while ago, because you had mentioned that a big part of the problem was the lack of a connection between what I'm studying and what my life will require. And you did some of it a while ago, calculating the time, distances. Just before we break, are there any other practical applications that students can hold on to in regards to math?
Your budgeting, when you're going to buy something, like yesterday I heard how much the gas prices were going up this week. And, that's a calculation right there. And I was actually trying to work out at home, what the increase has been over the past month. What's that likely to do to my the cost to fill my tank every time I go to the gas station? That's all math. What does that mean for my budget? How much traveling do I need? how much less traveling do I need to do if I can't increase my budget allocation for petrol for the month, all of that is involved in math. When we're playing games, football, all of the analytics they do on football games and cricket and all of those other things.
Math.
I'm not a sporting person, but all of that is math.
Right.
And yet, funny enough, the same persons who would say they're not good at the subject, they can analyze and tell you which Manchester United versus whoever, whatever. As I said, I'm not a sports person. But they'll do it, but they're just not recognizing that they're using those same skills that they would have learned in a math classroom.
Understood. Dr. Tamika Benjamin, you're giving us that, I'm going to term it lifestyle math. All right, we're going to take a quick break at this point, but we're going to pick up after the break with some more information from the Education Ministry. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're talking with Dr. Tamika Benjamin, the National Math Coordinator. Dr. Benjamin, in the previous segment, we spoke about the 2021 Math CSEC scores. And with those in mind, can you expand on the initiatives being implemented this academic year to help drive that percentage up and improve math skills overall? Sorry.
Well, we have what I would call some short, medium, and long-term strategies. In the short and medium term, we have a cadre of about 70 math coaches. They have been in the system since about 2014. They would have played a significant role in us making the gains that we had seen. And we have had to adjust the approach in which they use, the approach they use to support our schools. Mm-hmm. But clearly we use a lot of the virtual space to do co-teaching, co-planning. We do demonstration lessons. We have worked with our media services unit here at the Ministry of Education as well. We produced a number of recorded lessons, focusing a lot on the topics that we recognize create a challenge for students. And those are available on the ministry's on several sites that the ministry has and hosts these resources. We've done radio lessons, television lessons. So we have that, but we work a lot with teachers. We do webinars for teachers, and certainly in the context of the pandemic, we've offered a lot of free webinars for students straight throughout the year. And we target our CSEC students, particularly beginning in January, with regular webinars focusing on the topics that we know many of them are struggling with. And that's something we will continue to do. We work with our teachers training colleges. We have a new initiative that we are building upon this year, working with the lecturers, the teacher educators as well, to build their capacity, to ensure that they can better prepare teachers who can understand and effectively implement math curriculum. And we are also offering support to the students who are in year 3 and 4 of the teachers training colleges. So we offer webinars for them as well, small group webinars, trying to build their capacity, particularly those who are preparing to do their teaching practice. And then at the long-term stage, the ministry is implementing, and it's more medium to long, let me not say long. The ministry is implementing the specialist teacher model, and that one is focused on redeploying the teachers at the primary level to specialize There are 8 categories of specialization. One is math and science. So instead of everybody being required to teach mathematics, as a core of teachers who we would have deemed to be most capable, we have a tool that we use, will be redeployed in each school to teach math and science.
Right.
We also have the National School Learning Intervention Plan, and that's actually very critical. It's a framework that we developed to guide our schools, particularly within the context of the pandemic. It gives them some guidance on how to determine the needs of the students and meet the unique needs of each student within the subjects where they're having challenges. And that's very important because right now, we know sometimes you'll access a class, sometimes you won't. That will create what we call learning gaps. There are gaps in your learning. You missed something, and so you don't fully develop an understanding of the concept. And so that framework really gives some pointed guidance, some really direct guidance to our schools, how to group the students and treat them for intervention so that they're able to fill the gaps and build on that foundation.
So this is no child left behind in practice.
We've always had that philosophy. Remember, the Ministry of Education says every child can learn, every child must learn. Yeah. And so that's one of the ways we go about doing what we're doing is we're very intent on ensuring that we guide and resource our schools with the things they will need to ensure that every child really does learn and can maximize his or her full potential.
Indeed, indeed. I'm hearing a data-driven, multi-pronged approach. A broad spectrum, like this is a broad spectrum math antibiotic, so to speak. I'm hearing strategies for schools, I'm hearing strategies for the teachers, you had covered that, and for the students. But what about the parents, Dr. Benjamin? What are we doing for them?
Well, I must tell you that there are 2 things we do. One, the coaches will work with their schools and facilitate parent math nights or math segments within Parent Teachers Association meetings. Right. So that's something we've always done and we've continued to do even in the midst of the pandemic and no face-to-face. Another thing is about 5 years ago, we got support from the IDB for a project that allowed us to develop some parent teaching resources. So we did some little workshops for parents. And we are actually partnering with the National Parenting Support Commission now to expand access to those resources and make it better available, much more available to parents. That tends to focus on parents of children in the early years into up to grade 1, 2, or 3, but it allows them to actually use the experiences at home to make those connections. So we're actually building the capacity of parents to create that kind of link for their students, for their children.
And I can imagine that would be very important. You're getting positive messaging around math at school,
Absolutely.
Positive messaging at home. It's an overall strategy. Doc, I want to give you just a minute or two to say something to our students, our parents, our teachers, to Jamaica around math and its importance to us moving Jamaica forward, and something that's always heard, especially on this program, make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise children, have business, make families. How is math crucial to that, and how can they really plug it?
Well, first of all, when we look at our economic growth and development plan, that one for Jamaica, a lot of the industries that we are expecting to drive that growth are built on what we call STEM. And one of the basic foundations of STEM is mathematics. A lot of the jobs that are being created are math-driven. And I mean, when I think of one area, for instance, engineering, software engineering, there is such a demand for persons in that field. But they need to have a strong background, and the growth and earning potential is absolutely great for them. I mean, they can work, they can live in Jamaica and be working for companies overseas because the demand is not just local, it's international. And so I'm encouraging you to invest in yourself by taking hold of all of the opportunities that exist for learning. YouTube, the ministry's resources, the ministry has its YouTube page, the webinars that are offered free of cost, and they're recorded it. So if you can't log on at the time, you can get access to it. Take hold of those opportunities and make the best to develop you first. That's the first step in making sure that you are actually able to participate in helping Jamaica become the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
You said it, Doc. You have said it. Mathematics and investment in our future. My future, your future, and the future of the nation. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest was National Math Coordinator Dr. Tamika Benjamin. We thank you for spending these short moments with us. We were learning about math today. And until next time, when Get the Facts brings you, as always, more important information, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching, and take good care.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Being home during this pandemic has allowed us to develop our love for new things that we may not have had time for before. For some, it may just be enhancing your old skills. If this love or skill was cooking and you would like to become certified, then your heart may just be in the right place.
Tourism and agriculture have been like Siamese twins from day one. 88% of the world travels for food experiences. And that 42% of the expenditure of all the visitors over the world is on food.
It's for reasons such as this that the Ebony Park Heart Academy has been invested in producing top-class chefs and entrepreneurs to fill industry demands.
What Heart is doing for students is that we are empowering our students. We want them to not just get a skill, but get the skill and make it useful. Open up their own business, have an entrepreneurship mind where you don't normally just have to work for people. We want to target everybody, those that are not doing anything, those that are at home not doing anything, those that feel like, boy, I'm too old and I really can't go back to school. We are for everybody. I want to target everybody in Jamaica because we want to empower our nation. And this is where it starts. We offer a wide variety of hospitality courses such as commercial food preparation, level 2, food and beverage service, level 3. So, but for this one now that we are focusing on today is the commercial food preparation level 2, where they learn a variety of things. They learn from pastries and to savory cooking. We actually have our own farm where we produce most of the items that we use. The pepper, we have our agro-processing units that gather the food and they process it and bottle it, and we use those products. So we don't normally buy a lot of produce out there on the street because we have our own processing unit, our own farm, our own crops, produce, everything.
Meet Amaria Bryan, a commercial food preparation student at the Ebony Park Heart Academy. At the 67th staging of the Denby Agricultural Industrial Food Show, Amaria showed off what Heart is teaching him with a scrumptious meal of chicken pasta stir-fry.
I do on-the-job training. So basically for a year I work at the Ebony Park training restaurant meanwhile I am training. So there are days when I have to go in the kitchen to cook for people who are buying food at the restaurant. And we have to do this to get received to attain our grade. And based off our performance we are graded, and then based off that we get our certificate. What we did, we add a little twist to it and add an Alfredo sauce. So we basically just build a new recipe on spot, and we just call it chicken Alfredo. And in this we have sweet pepper of different colors. We have ginger, we have salt, we have a little pinch of salt. We have basically what we was aiming for, we wanted to go natural, so we had no powder seasons. And we had two different types of cheese. We have mozzarella, which give it the body, and we had pepper jack cheese, which give it the flavor and give it a little spiciness. And we had sweet corns, we had blanched carrots, yes, and we have a little clove to give it a little kick. And basically, those are the main ingredients in the pasta. And we just add a little bit of brandy to bring out the flavor in the chicken breast, and to basically give it the flambe, the fire effect. That's what we did. And this dish can be prepared in about 5 to 7 minutes. Basically, I have to give the chicken breast time to cook, and the chicken breast cook very quickly. I just recently completed level 2, and I'm actually doing voluntary service here at Denby. And what I plan to do, I plan to do level 3. That's the supervisory level, chef de partie, under the same commercial food preparation. And after I finish that, I plan to work in the hotel, get some experience, but my ultimate goal is to work on the cruise ship and then in the Burj Khalifa at Dubai. Heart has created basically what we call a workforce database where they invest in their trainees, and then they produce them out into the workforce, and they basically have a lot of jobs waiting for us. So once a lot of hotels here at Ebony Park, then they want to take us. Some of them don't even want to interview you. They just want to know you're coming from Ebony Park, and then they just grab it because they know Ebony Park produces the best trainees, the best chefs you can find in Jamaica and on the cruise ship.
Students have worked in our major hotels in Jamaica. Even though I have students at the Rio Hotel, I have students at Sandals, I have students at Hilton. They're all over the place. I have students who are overseas now, who are in the hospitality area, and most of them are chefs. That's what they do, that's what they love, so they just go there. The sky's the limit for them, and they just want to do more, they want to learn more. So even though we teach them here, they always have a passion to know more about this foods, because it's so wide, it's so fun. I don't even know what to tell you, but it's a whole lot in one little package that you can get so much from.
If you want to grab your piece of the pie, but you're scared because you have no certifications in the subject area, don't worry. A mathematics and English entry test are available to process your application. So ask yourself this: what exactly is stopping you from starting your journey?
This is where the magazine ends, but only for today. But if you would like to see more content like this, then visit our YouTube channel. We also have all the latest news and updates on our social media pages and on our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.